Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we're gonna do a little tier list here for WWE on the best factions currently and where they should be going on this tier list. I'm gonna try to just I don't really like to put the tier list even, but this one I just think is best to just slate them to where they go, and we'll just jump right into it. First off, we got Alpha Academy. I feel like Alpha Academy is just perfectly fine. It's one of those factions that's going to be around and just does their thing. They're good for promos, good for a good baby face type thing. I'll put it, I guess, potential. I mean, like, I don't really feel like, you know, they're they're like doing good or bad. They're getting booked in some decent stuff. Obviously, they're not on there right now because I think it's a little hard with Raw's booking. But I think it's pretty decent. Next up, we got American Made. This was one of the most exciting ones that I wanted. I really wanted Chad Gable to turn heel, wanted the Creed brothers in there, wanted Ivy Nile. Everything turned out great. They had a great little mini feud with the Wyatt Sick, and I think they still have the potential to keep going. So I say put them in A because they're really enjoyable, but like obviously, I don't think they're the best faction out there, but I think they definitely could do some more stuff. The Bloodline. I mean, I enjoy the Bloodline storyline. I'm kind of one of those people like I came into like wrestling about 2 years ago, so like a lot of the main Bloodline storyline, or at least a big portion of it, was already kind of told. At least like the ups. I only saw the downs. I honestly think it's fine. I think like it's a great faction, and it's obviously like a Hall of Fame type level of factions because between when Roman led it and now Solo. So I don't really know if you push it. I'll just put it like that they're enjoyable. Their whole story of SmackDown is run through the Bloodline. Everybody has something to do with the Bloodline if you want to be on the main event or the last hour of the show. So you got to put it up in A tier. Chase U. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with Chase U. I think it's a nice faction that makes sense for being in the developmental. I would just probably put them in their potential. They're in some pretty decent stories. I don't like these just good. I think that's a better way of doing it. Good faction, keep it. That's all the good things that you can say about it. Next up, you have the D'Angelo family. I know they're playing like the Italian mob and all that. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. I could see it honestly, like you know, I don't know. Like I feel like the breakup could definitely be one of those things that can make it better. It kind of depends on how they want to push Stacks and how they want to pick Tony D'Angelo. Because if Tony D'Angelo defeats Oba Fetty, which is this week, and this video might actually even be the day that it comes out, if he defeats him, then they should build into that thing that Stacks maybe wants to eventually take out Tony D'Angelo to get the North American title. I'm cool with that. If he doesn't have the title and they just haven't really done anything, they can still do that type of turn. And I think it would work. I don't really feel like it's a faction that should stand around for too much longer because I feel like Tony D'Angelo is. His gimmick is good and he's a good wrestler, but I don't know if it translates to the main roster, so they should be starting to think about it. Damage control. I have a conflicting feeling about damage control because damage control in general has some of my favorite wrestlers, and like I love Kairi Sane, love Io Sky, love Asuka. Not a fan or not a fan or a fan of Dakota Kai. It's more of that I never get to really see her because she gets hurt. So there's nothing against her. I just don't want to include her in what I'm about to say. It's like I really like all of them, and I like them all as a tag team, and I also like them as single stars. So it's like very hard to want to say keep this faction together when I think that like it'd be fun for them to break up. I think currently you keep them together because you got half the faction gone. And I think when Asuka comes back, if they decide to then do the faction to go away with it, then it would be fine. But I think right now, I think it's great. I'm going to put it in good. It's a good faction. I like it. I love all the women inside of it. But down the line, I think they could do it. I don't think like it's necessarily enjoyable right now because the faction is half gone. It's just a tag team right now. But I would eventually want to push it. Then you got Fatal Influence. I think they're a great heel faction down in NXT. I think that they have the potential to run it, and if they can get a title, like especially the North American Women's title, I think will be better. I'm going to say push them to the moon. They have solid wrestlers, solid gimmicks, solid mic work. Everything is really good with it. So you should keep pushing it because they have a lot of baby faces down there that they can destroy. So I'm cool with it. Final Testament. It's a weird faction. I thought they were going to be a bigger deal like anything Karrion Cross does, I think it's going to be a bigger deal than what it is, and then it's not. So then it's just kind of disappointing. So I would say I am enjoying it, but I don't feel like it has a lot of legs. I'm gonna put it in good. I just feel like they're gonna always be there, and I think it's for the people who's in it. It's a good thing. They'll get some good rivalries, but will they ever be like champions or in that potential area? I don't think so. Gallus, I'm honestly like it makes sense to who's in Gallus. Their faction is like needed down there, but I honestly don't care. They need more. I feel like booking is kind of failing them. They feel like they need a big win, other than like beating, some of the other tag teams. Like I think they beat the Good Brothers, which a lot of people have. It's just like it's not that big of a deal down there. The Judgment Day. Judgment Day arguably is probably one of the best factions in general because like you could say the Bloodline is, but like the gold they have like the tag team gold, but like this faction has loaded with tag team gold, the women's title, like it has the most titles in any faction, so it's gonna have a lot of storyline revolved around it. I think the story that they're telling with all of it's working. I think with Liv and Rhea, I feel like they should wrap that up pretty soon, and with they can try to do Finn and Damien a little bit longer, but again, I feel like it's starting to get to that point where it's going to get stale. So I think they can definitely change some things up, and I feel like with Liv having the title, nothing against Liv, but there's nobody else stands a chance because anybody like they don't have anybody else in that main event scene on Raw. So I'm a little concerned about what's going on there, but let's just put that it's really enjoyable. I mean, it's still a good, enjoyable faction, but it definitely is coming to an end, I feel like, or they gotta change up what they're doing. Um, Legado del Fantasma. I always can't say that one. I honestly, it's just they just go up and down of being screen time, and they just rarely get screen time. I think booking's failing them. I just feel like they need more screen time. They have some solid wrestlers in it, but I think they're always going to be kind of jobbers to a certain extent, just to make everybody else look better. The LWO, I think, is just there to help, you know, push a lot of the different, tag teams and, singles wrestlers with Ray and Dragon Lee. I think it works. I don't think it's anything special. I'll put it in good. Metaphor, it's weird because like I think with Dar out, they're actually a better faction. Not that he was necessarily bad for them. It was just that like I think they kind of are getting more pushed now that he's not there. I think they were kind of all background players to Dar, and now I think they're all kind of out there. I love Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. They need more tag action. We need that. We want it. So please push them more with that. Overall, I'm gonna just say it's really enjoyable. I wouldn't say necessarily I want the faction to be like pushed as a whole because I feel like two out of the four are really doing good. One's I think hurt, and then Mensa is doing his own thing solo. I don't think he really needs the faction as much. No quarter catch crew. This is a weird one because I feel like individually everybody in this one is a really good wrestler. I've been loving Rin Sinclair. Like every time she's on NXT, she does so amazing, either wrestling or the backstage work, promos, whatever it is. She definitely is memorable when it comes to NXT. So I definitely think that should be a big thing to push. And I honestly, with seeing what Tavion Heights did in Japan, I'm like, this guy could go out there and ball. Like him versus like Oba Fetty for the North American title could be a like 5-star match. So I'm gonna say push the faction. I like it. I like everybody in there, and obviously Charlie Dempsey is the Heritage Cup champion, so that's pretty cool. I feel like Miles Bourne is a good wrestler. He's kind of overshadowed by everybody else, but they could go in the tag. I think they were talking about Bourne and Heights going after the tag team titles. Wouldn't be necessarily against that too. I do feel like Tevin Heights should have one match against Obafetti first, or in some of this. Out of the mud, I feel like Jada Parker kind of outgrew this group. So I'm gonna say they need to break up. I feel like she's already outgrown it. Like she was kind of the background player. She's had some really good solid work, and I feel like she should just kind of go out on her own. I think that's a better thing for her, and then let them be a tag team and get back into that tag division. But it feels like it's just one person getting pushed. Pew Fusion Collective. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of this one. I don't even think it's like that they're necessarily bad. I think it's just three wrestlers that are together, and it just feels just like they're thrown together, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna go anywhere. You kind of just feel like they're just that heel faction to pick up a few cheeky wins, get destroyed by a couple of the big baby faces, rinse, repeat, and they just keep doing that. I think that's all it's gonna be. So, I guess I'll put them. A breakup angle might be better. I honestly don't think there's any saving that faction. And last but certainly not least, we have the Wyatt Sick. This is going to be one of those factions that, depending on how they keep going with their stuff, like I think they picked their next victim as either being Karrion Kross or Miz. That's cool. I'm glad that they're doing stuff like that. I feel like it's probably more Karrion Kross because they have like more faction members. I feel like they they go through the Miz. It doesn't feel like it would be a lot of people doing stuff, but you never know. I feel like just going after people is a pretty solid strategy. I do hate that we do have probably long periods of time when we're not going to see them and we're just going to get promo and stuff from them, which right now Raw's 2 hours, so it's perfectly fine. But let's, I say, just keep doing what they're doing. I'm really enjoying it. And that's my tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.